Thank you, and thanks for that wonderful introduction. Are you able to see me and all of my gear around? I want to make
It's,
sure that my video is
it's
set up.
hearing you is a little bit, you're a little bit quiet. So I don't know if that's the same.
Um, I don't know how to fix that, except,
We can hear you better when you're closer.
yeah, maybe I'll move this a little bit closer to me.
Okay.
Is that a little bit better?
Yeah.
Or yes, no?
It's still a little quiet.
It's still a little quiet, huh? Let's see. I'll move a little bit closer. How's that?
That's better.
A little bit better?
Yes. Do you
I'll have to
someone had suggested, do you have a headset or feeding audio to your computer at all? No.
I have a headset, but I don't know. I have earbuds, but I don't know if I would be able to. They're not wireless, so I would have to connect them to the computer.
You sound better now.
And that might,
yeah.
maybe just moving a little bit closer, and I'll just have to hold up a lot of my gear.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, so thank you, and thank you all for being here. This is a super fun topic for me. I probably did some of my first hiking when I was about 16 years old out west, and then I took a little bit of a hiatus until my late 20s and started hiking up here a little bit in New Hampshire and Maine. And then about 2013, I just knew that I wanted to spend a lot more time in the mountains and outside. And I joined a hiking meetup group, and it's really has changed my entire life. It inspired me to become the founder of Peaks and Poses, which is a trail yoga company and outdoor adventure. So I started here leading people into just the Blue Hills, just to get people outside and get people kind of connected and explore their own sort of physical strength and mental strength, and just to share what I was really enjoying. And slowly I moved some of my hikes and events up into the White Mountains of New Hampshire. And now I am doing overnights there through some of the AMC, which is the Appalachian Mountain Club huts, and a hostel. I give a shout out to the Notch Hostel in Woodstock, New Hampshire. And I led a trip last summer to Boulder, Colorado. The kind of interesting thing is, if it wasn't during our COVID time, I was supposed to be in Glacier National Park this week leading a retreat out there. So to me, hiking is just a combination of being outside, connecting to nature, just to kind of take a pause in my everyday life and to kind of see what's happening outside. And I've gotten into multi-day backpacking. So I went out on the John Muir Trail in the summer of 2018 and went on a 3-week backpacking trip with a friend of mine. And just an amazing, amazing experience. I'm already trying to plan when I can go back there again. So, from all of this, I started realizing that, we have to all be safe out in the mountains, or even just on a day hike around here in the Blue Hills. And I'm going to go through the 10 essentials and really what you should prepare for yourself and have in your backpack. I did not make up this list. This list has been around for at least the original list for a long, long time. And it's sort of been a little bit revised and a little bit updated. I created the 10 hiking essentials, and I put them in categories. So I'm just going to really go through the categories with you and show you sort of examples of what I'm talking about and maybe some side stories there. And then I'm going to also show you a little bit about some of the extra things that I might bring with me, things that I've learned over time, and sort of a nice to have. And then I'm going to put everything in my backpack just to show you a little bit of some organizational skills. I learned so much from my friends, from my meetup group. It's really unbelievable. And the one thing I did learn was always know where your stuff is in your backpack, right? Just so, like when you open up your silverware drawer and you know where your fork is and your spoon and your knife and everything is sort of organized, that's how quickly you should be able to open up your pack and find things. So the first thing on my list is probably the most important, and that is to have your navigational items. And it really goes down to bring a map with you, right? So the White Mountain National Forest puts out, they have a book, the White Mountain Guide, and it used to come with these maps. I don't know if it still does, but you can get these anywhere, really, REI, EMS, online. These are made with kind of a Tyvek material, so they're waterproof, which is really nice because you know it's always going to rain at some point when you're hiking. And the White Mountains, for instance, they have like 3 different maps, different areas. So you really want to just take the map of the area that you're going to. The Blue Hills also has a map. You can buy it at the police headquarters. There's a little house behind there and they sell their maps. They also have maps out on the kiosk so you can take a picture of it. And you can go online if you're hiking a high mountain, you can usually get some kind of PDF file. So I'm sort of a true believer of just really paper maps to bring with you, and then anything else is additional. So there's hiking apps that you can use. Some of them are called All Trails. One of them is called Gaia. Gaia costs money. All Trails is free up until I think you want to download a map, and then it will cost you something. But you know, if you're serious about hiking, I think that they're good complements to having a map. And I would never just solely rely on an app to help me navigate where I'm going. You have no idea, like, you know, your battery can die, your phone can fall in the river, you can drop your phone and it can break. I mean, there's just so many, you may not get cell service where you are. So there's just a lot of things that are out of our control when we're just going to rely on technology. So super easy just to bring a map with you. You might have, you know, a GPS device. You might have a personal beacon. It all really depends, like, sort of how avid of a hiker you are, if you're going out by yourself, you know, things of those sorts. So basically a map and a compass. So this is something that I just stick in my my first aid bag. I can't say I've taken my compass out and used it. I did take a class that was offered. Just like the library, REI has amazing free classes. And my son and I just, one winter, we took like a maps and navigational class together. And they taught us how to read the compass and how to line it up on your map and things like that. So something really simple is every time I get out of the car and I'm going out on a trail, I just take notice where the sun is, because we know the sun rises in the east, it sets in the west. So it's just, again, just sort of another navigational tool. It's always going to be there for us. I mean, unless it's in the clouds, but you can got to get a sense of, you know, which direction you're headed. You know, it's not really your guide, but it's a marker for you as you're kind of like moving along. Okay. So that's a navigational system. And then there's illumination. And what I want to tell you guys is you can take notes, but I also have like a tip sheet for hiking with these 10 essentials. So if you're interested in something like that, you can put your email in the chat for me, and I'm happy to send it out to you after the workshop or sometime tomorrow. So what I have here is a headlamp, right? I happen to have a case that goes with it, and I'll tell you why. I highly recommend a headlamp versus a flashlight, because once you put it on your head, your hands are free to hold on to your poles, to help you maneuver any kind of rocks or boulders, to get in and out of your backpack. So this really just is like hands-free, okay? This is a black diamond. There's lots of different brands that you can look into. I particularly like this one for a couple of reasons. So when you turn it on, see that blue light? That blue light actually is the lock button. So now this is locked. Before I had this little case, I can't tell you how many times I went out with a headlamp, didn't have the locking mechanism. This got pushed onto something, and then my battery was just dead. So see if I can get this on. Just wants to be locked. Oh, there we go. All right. So what I like about this one is there's a little bit of a tilt to it. Here it is shining right in your eyes. Tilts down, so it sort of illuminates what's down. It's also got like a red-orange light, which is nice when you're hanging out with people. I'm not going to go through it, but the white light isn't shining in people's eyes or people's faces. So that orange light is nice for night, either hanging out at the campfire, wherever you are, even coming down a trail. It's not as bright. And look for something that has this little piece that allows you to bring the light down. Always bring either extra batteries or have a second headlamp. Second headlamp isn't a bad idea. I have extra batteries as a little spot. I'm not going to take them out because they're like really wedged in here. Where you can keep your batteries in the case. But I'm a four-season hiker, so I hike in the winter. And my hands get really cold. I'm not really going to want to be fumbling around and having to change the batteries in my headlamp. So lots of times in the winter, I'll bring this case, I'll have the extra batteries, but I'll also throw in another headlamp. So I'll hike with two headlamps. Again, it's worth the investment just so you have the hands free and you don't have to hold on to a flashlight. So that's the illumination. The third category is really sun protection, right? So depending upon the season, bringing some sunscreen with you, putting it on before you hike, during the hike, having some sunglasses. I mean, some of this is common sense, but it's always a good reminder. I like to bring my sunglasses in a case, just because the weather is so varied, and if you want to take your glasses off, they're protected in something. I mean, sometimes I do slip them here, but there's so many times that I've dropped my sunglasses. So just a soft shell case. Oh yeah, hat. I tend not to hike with a hat, but it's not a bad idea. Sometimes I'll put a bandana or something over my head. There's sun protective clothing that people can wear. When I did go out in California, it's funny, Californians hike very differently than the East Coasters. Like we go out there in tank tops and shorts, and lots of people, people wear hats, people don't wear hats. California, people are wearing long sleeve shirt, long pants, and a hat, some kind of sun hat. So when I did go out on the John Muir Trail, I tried it. It's very hot for me. It was way too hot. And even though it's dry out there, it was really, really hot. So I was lucky. I ended up bringing a lot of sunscreen with me. And I actually had a friend who said, you don't need sunscreen, because I was going out for 3 weeks. Every little ounce that you carry is, weight in your pack. But he said, you're not going to need it. You can have your long sleeves, your pants on. I was like, I don't know, I'm just going to bring it. And luckily I did, because I did have, I had a pair of shorts, and I ended up bringing a very thin long sleeve shirt. So I did wear my long sleeve shirt to protect my arms. And then I just dosed my legs like 3 times a day with sunscreen. And some days I wore the hat, some days I didn't. So it's all going to vary, but it's really good things to think about for yourself. Okay. So that's the sun protection. The fourth category is just nutrition, and to think about foods that have good calories, that are sort of dense in their nutrition. I have a couple of just bars, and I can go through a little bit of the food. Cliff Bar, they are, just high in protein. It's got 11 grams of protein. It's got 40 grams of carbs, 7 grams of fat. It's got, sodium. This is all going to vary. You're going to have to find some kind of bar that works for you. I think Cliff Bar, I can't remember, it might have wheat in it, so it may not be the best thing for people who are wheat-free. I tend to go with Larabars. They are wheat-free. They're mostly nuts and fruit, but they'll have a different caloric count. They've got, different protein. It's all labeled here. It's got 23 grams of carbs versus the Cliff Bar, which is 40. I love sometimes just pockets of peanut butter. You can see these in lots of stores now. They even have almond butter and cashew butter. So, and then you can just squeeze it out. This is 7 grams of protein, 210 calories. It's got 18 grams of fat. I'm just putting a disclaimer out there that when I go hiking, I have like very few limits on what I will eat. I have a very, not really different, but it's not really the way that I eat Monday through Friday when I'm not hiking. But I know that I'm putting out a lot of effort, a lot of energy, burning a lot of calories. I'm plant-based, so I don't really bring any kind of meat product with me. But so something like this is awesome. Peanut butter. I just picked this up from Trader Joe's, like fig bars. The best thing that you could bring with you is, I learned this when I did like a solo's name of the company. It was a wilderness first aid course. And this is really in response to having to assist somebody, but it's really good information to have for yourself, because most of the time, the assistance that I'm going to provide to somebody is probably due to them being dehydrated or not having enough food in them. So they recommended, those peanut butter crackers, which probably, I'm very whole grain, whole food, so I tend not to get the crackers, but I will get the peanut butter pretzels, and it's a really good combination of the peanut butter. So it's got the fat, it's got the salt, it's got the protein, and it's got the sugar. So all those carbs will break down into sugar, which is really kind of the boost that you want to give to somebody that's dehydrated. So, so in lieu of those peanut butter crackers, I will always have with me peanut butter pretzels, just for myself. And for me, what I tend to do is, if I'm backpacking with this bag, I've got a little zip pocket here. It's got my my chapstick in it, but I'll always stick like peanut butter pretzels in there, and I'll just kind of eat out of this little sack through the day. And it just keeps my energy going. It keeps me part of, one means of like not getting dehydrated. So trying to think what else. Nuts are really good, almonds, cashews, raisins. People bring all sorts of things. I lean on the healthier side, but people will just bring candy bars. Through hikers on the Appalachian Trail just live on candy bars for like however long it takes them to hike those thousands of miles. I think it's kind of disgusting. I'm more for, I want to have food. I always bring lunch with me. I'm not somebody that can really get by on just a bar if I'm out really for the day. So I'll bring sandwiches. I'll even bring salads with some kind of veggie burger on it, or hummus, like a hummus wrap. I think what else? Sometimes in the winter, it's I have got my thermos, and I'll make some kind of soup or roasted vegetables and quinoa and put it in the thermos. Even in the dead of winter, if you're going out on a good day, you could still find a place to stop for 10 minutes and have some lunch. So you really have to just be mindful of how much energy you're putting out, and to really be replenishing yourself as you're going out on the trail. So the next category is hydration and water purification. And this is going to vary. I've got two systems that I use. This is a Camelback. That's the name of the company. They make amazing bladders. And there's definitely, there's a couple other companies. I have a Platypus. That's another company that has a bladder like this. Camelback stands behind all of their products. In fact, I had a Camelback that something happened to the, actually it was this little hook here. So this hook gets hooked into like another hook that's in my backpack to sort of keep it upright. And that thing snapped off. So it wasn't really working very well. And so I just wrote to the company and I sent them pictures and I think they wanted the product. And I got like their like up-to-date state-of-the-art bladder now. It's a 2-liter bladder, I think. Yep, it's 2 liters. And it actually has like some insulation. So I could bring this with me in the winter, but I tend not to. The water freezes a lot. The water will freeze in this tube in the winter. So you got to be kind of like blowing air into it. And it's, I haven't been able to master it. But what I like about this is this comes apart. So for traveling purposes, this is really nice. And I'll explain that. It's got this covering on it. You know, you just kind of squeeze here. But it's got a lock mechanism, which is really nice. Because what happened to me, these are sort of like the trials and tribulations. I had a bladder. This was all connected. It didn't have a locking mechanism. And it was in my backpack, which in the trunk of my car or somebody else's car, along with everybody else's backpack, things got squished. All my water, or you know what it was? A pack was on this hose and it squeezed out all the water. So you kind of like live and learn these things. You know, I was able to get water somewhere else, but it's like, oh, this is nice. It's got a locking mechanism. It's got a top to it. This actually now comes off. This is all little geeky gear stuff, but this thing comes off and they've got like a, Camelback makes a tube, not a tube, it's got like a cleaning brush, like you clean out like baby bottles with, and it's thin and you can stick it all the way through here and kind of clean it all out. This still has water in it from my hiking trip on Friday. Getting a little shower here. So I think they did a lot of work here in trying to come up with a pretty decent system here. So I will take this a lot with me in the summer. I'll always take this with me. Fill this up. In the winter, you want to put in warm water, right? Because it takes it longer to freeze. So if you're out in the winter, this again may not be the best thing to bring in the winter, but people do. I also have a Nalgene bottle. And this is also 2 liters of water. This is not a have to, but this is just a little mouthpiece you can put in the top. And it just helps you get the water out. Again, not a have to. I think I got this last year. So I've been hiking for many years before. I was like, oh, maybe I should get one of those, because you go like this and like the water just falls on your face. These are pretty indestructible. They're really great for so many reasons. If you've got to filter water, it's easy to open it up and filter in here. If you're doing any kind of camping, this is nice to fill this up with hot water at night, and you can put it in your sleeping bag with you. You can have 2, one by your feet and one that you can sort of cradle depending upon. It gets cold at night, you never know. So this is always a good thing to have. You can collect stickers, like Peaks and Poses stickers and all sorts of stickers and decorate. So those are the Nalgene bottles. You can get them anywhere, and I think they're indestructible also. Make sure you get like the ones that are free of all of that PBA or, yeah, I think they all make them that way now. Yeah, PBA free, says it right here. chemicals. So the other thing is like just a water filter system. These have come a long way. I wasn't even gonna like take out my old ones because this is so easy. This is a company called Sawyer, and they have like this little squeeze bottle. So basically this will filter your water. You should always bring plenty of water and then some extra water. And you'll start to figure out like how much water you need, but you should always overpack your water. It's so worth it. The whole idea about packing all of this is that the intention of packing is the what if. It's not really what if. You should be packing as if you're going to spend the night. So that's kind of the mindset you have to get yourself into. Because you might be thinking like, why am I bringing all this stuff? But that's really what's highly recommended is that like, what if you hurt your leg? What if you got lost? What if you, for whatever reason, you had to spend the night somewhere? You are fully prepared to spend the night. If you run out of water, hopefully you're going to be near a stream. Who knows? But regardless, or if you're on a multi-day backpacking trip, you're going to want to bring a water filter with you. So this what you would do is you would take this and you would either just displace it into a stream. If the stream was running, you would put it underneath it. If you were in a pond, you could fill this up, and then you can put this this filter right on top, and then you can actually drink from this. So all the filtering mechanism is right in here. It comes with like a syringe that you can squeeze it out. Now, when I was hiking out in California, I used a little bit of a different system. I took this was kind of too small, but I did take this with me. I didn't have this bladder, but I had that platypus bladder that I was thinking of. It was like a 3 liter, so much bigger. You can scoop it up into the lake, into the pond, and then it had a really long tube, kind of like this, similar to this. So we'd sort of like hang it from a tree, and then we put the filter on the bottom of this. So it's just a way to gather a lot more water. This is kind of small, to be honest. But I think they made a good attempt. And even if you don't bring this and you have some other system to filter your water, this actual filter is awesome. So that is called the Sawyer. Some people bring, I never one of these people, but some people bring tablets to filter the water. I've just never done it. These seem to be pretty easy to use. I think you have to wait a while for that water to get filtered. The old way was they have a SteriPen, and you would fill like an Nalgene bottle up and you'd stick the SteriPen in here, and that would filter the water. But they're really heavy. I have one, I've used it once, and it's like super heavy. So now I just bring this with me. So you just want to make sure that you bring enough water. That's just the worst, is to run out of water. I've been there. It's not fun. And then if you can, have some kind of filter system. So the next category is insulation. So how are you going to protect yourself from the elements, and also to think about layering your clothing. So you should have a really good rain jacket. I have two, one for winter and one for the other seasons. This one is fairly lightweight. This is my summer one. You want to look for water proof, really not just water resistant. Again, you want to be prepared. And what I love about this jacket, and a lot of the jackets that are made for hiking, a rain jacket for hiking, is they have what they call pit zips. So when you put your arms in, like so, especially in the winter, it's going to be hot. and then you're going to sweat. So you can just open up these pockets here for your pits, and they're just zippers here, right? So you're just like, you're able to sweat, you're able to breathe. Otherwise, you could get really overheated. So I would look for something like that. Sometimes they have Velcro here. I like the ones that have the zippers. It's great if you can have a pocket inside your rain jacket. I don't think this one does, but it's a nice feature, especially like for your phone. It does have a pocket up here. You know, again, you're going to sort of find the right fit for you. Is that, oh no, that's no extra pockets on this one. I had another one that I really liked, but it got too big. I also like, this was really hard to find because my other one had it. When you zip it up, sometimes you can have a double zipper, and then it will zip up here. So again, this opens up, and then you can just breathe. Oh, yeah, here's that pocket. So another little side pocket here.
Hey,
Maybe.
Nancy, quick question for you. What
Yeah.
is the brand of that rain jacket and the material? Do you know?
Yeah, this is actually just EMS, just from Eastern Mountain Sports. And then, you know, this is women's. I also have, you definitely want a hood. And you don't always have to have the hood open. Lots of times there's just little ways for it to fold down. I see it's got Velcro. My other jacket for the winter is Marmot, and they're a really good brand. They're really, you know, higher end, and that's a Gore-Tex jacket. And in the winter, a lot of times it's more for like wind protection. So like before we approach a summit, if it's particularly windy out, we'll stop and then we'll put on, you know, it's just a jacket like that, more for wind. I mean, obviously it's there for snow, and I've been hiking in the snow a lot this past winter. But that jacket is a little bit thicker than this one. This one's a little bit more lightweight. I think I would die of heat if I was hiking with the other one, just because it's really thick. Get yourself a great color too. You don't have to go with black. My other one's red. It's really kind of fun. I would recommend always having a hat and gloves, even in the summer, right? Just something to keep your head warm, especially if you're going to be like camping out. It can get pretty cold. I was up on the top of Franconia Ridge, which is up in Franconia area of New Hampshire. It was August. That ridge is over 5,000 feet, and I was a very inexperienced hiker at the time. However, we did have hat and gloves. So it was super windy day. And it's cold, even sometimes with the sun out. So gloves, mittens, even just something really lightweight. I mean, I would say if you're going to go to the Blue Hills, you're probably not going to need this. But if you're heading up north, that's the other thing, is the weather up north is very different than it is here. And just on a side note, you should always check the weather days before you're going to head out, so you can plan your day trip, or particularly the morning of. And you can go on to, I tend to use Mountain Dash Forecast, and it gives you like a list of all of the different mountain ranges, and then you can click on each individual mountain, or you can just say like, oh, I'm going to go hike up, say Mount Lafayette. You just Google Mount Lafayette weather, and one of the first sites that will come up will be this mountain forecast. And they'll give you the temperature for the elevation at the highest point, and also like where you're starting from, which always is, you know, up there, it's not going to be sea level. It could be you're starting at, you know, 1,500 feet or 2,000. And then you can open up each day, and you'll be able to see like the wind, the humidity, the moisture, if there's rain coming in, how much, if there's snow coming in, how much. It gets really tricky, particularly in the fall, because it might seem like a pretty nice day here in Boston, and then you go up there and you're already, you know, 10 degrees cooler, And then if you're going to go hike up, you know, even a mountain at 2,500 feet, you know, you're going to be even that much cooler. So you have to just be really aware of the change of temperature, you know, as you're going north and then in some of the higher elevations. So I always bring extra clothing with me. These are some awesome dry sacks. They're Sea to Summit is the company. And, you know, don't go out and feel like you have to run out and like buy everything, because hiking becomes like an expensive hobby, like lots of other hobbies. So, I mean, this is stuff that I have really, hiking gear that I've accumulated over time. I look back on some of my first hikes, I'm like, oh dear, I wouldn't be giving this talk, that is for sure. But, so you can make do with Ziploc bags. Those, you know, Ziploc just like this is awesome for gear. And also, this is what I did when I did my multi-day backpacking trip. This is a garbage disposal bag. You could probably even use like a hefty bag. Once you open it up, you can put it inside your backpack, and then you can put all of your gear inside that. So this would go in here, you'd open it all up, right? You put all your stuff in here, and then you can tie this closed, right? So if it was to rain, the rain might hit your backpack. You might also have a pack cover, and I'll show you where mine is. But if the outside gets wet, then all your stuff will be inside, and it will stay dry with a bag like this. If you're out looking for a backpack, this one happens to be a Deuter backpack. This is pretty old already, but I'm not ready to give it up. I love it. It's so dirty, but it's got so many years of and miles of travel on it. But I opened up the bottom of my backpack, and Deuter makes a pack cover. So it's instant covering for your pack if you're out and caught in a rainstorm. If your pack doesn't have one, right? So there we go, like that, and then I can put my arms in here. If your pack doesn't have one, you can easily get one. They sell them, because my large backpack that I do for overnights doesn't have one, and I just bought one, and I just always have it inside the pack. And they just come in different sizes, because backpacks come in different sizes. They're measured sort of by the liters, how much weight it's going to carry. This one is 28. So 28, and my multi-day backpacking is 60 liters plus 10. It's got like another compartment. You could add 10 to it. The bigger the pack, the more you put in there, the heavier it's going to be. So you got to be mindful of that also. But getting back to these bags, so I usually will bring this smaller one out on a day hike and put some extra clothes in here. You should always have extra socks. Feet get wet, they get sweaty. And so this is, I feel like, a requirement. What else do I have here? The other day I went out on Friday. It was really hot and humid. I never ended up changing, but I did bring an extra tank top. I should have had an extra sports bra. That's what I really needed. I pick and choose. I'm just somebody that can't really wear a lot of t-shirts, but I have them. I brought this the other day just in case it got cooler. These are all wick-away material. I highly recommend not to hike in cotton, because cotton keeps the moisture in the material, and then when it cools down, that wet material is on top of you, and you're going to get colder a lot faster. So this is all wick-away material. It takes the moisture away from your body. I have a long sleeve. Even in the summer, I usually will bring a long sleeve. You know, again, kind of a wick-away. This one just has some venting in the back, which is kind of nice. I think this is a runner shirt. It's got like a little zipper there. And I have hiking pants. Sometimes I bring, sometimes I don't. Some people have the pants that like have zip offs, and then they turn into shorts. And then you can always just bring the pant legs with you. It's just not my preference. So these are just like really super lightweight hiking pants. I would, now that stores, not that I want you to rush to stores, but there are some consignment shops around that will, people will bring their hiking clothing too. So, if you're somebody who's a consignment shopper or wannabe, there's a great one in Natick. There's also one near where I live now in Westboro. And I have a friend who lives in JP. She would tell me she would get all her hiking gear, all the clothes in the consignment shops. And also online, Facebook Marketplace, but there's also a Facebook like gear group. So I've sold stuff on it. So for anything, boots are a little tricky unless you've had boots before and you know what kind of brand fits your foot. But pants, jacket, some things, I don't know about socks, but maybe you want to get wool socks. This is Darn Tough. I like supporting local companies. Darn Tough is a company up in Vermont, and they make awesome socks, and they're colorful. It's always kind of fun just to add a little bit of bling when you're out there in the trails. So this would just go all in my, I don't know, just roll it up, put it in here.
Nancy, may I ask, what's the material again of the cloth? You said it was,
They're wick-away.
what is it called?
Well, it's wick-away, like something you can even wear for running,
Okay,
like Cool Max, that type of stuff.
okay,
They they have also great hiking. Even the pants. Sometimes in Marshalls or TJ's, if you go to their activewear, or Sierra Trading Company now, that they're there in Natick, they're a great store. That one you have to just sort of, well, even with Marshalls and TJ, you'd have to pick through more, but Sierra Trading has a lot of like Columbia brand and North Face and all sorts of outdoor clothing.
okay, thank you.
These little socks too are nice. Like sometimes I'll throw like my food in here just because. So this is a dry sack, right? So everything in here is going to stay dry. So if I happen to be out and we caught a rainstorm, my clothes are already in here, I'll go through my bag and I'll put like my food in there. I'll take my phone off of, I have a little, I'll show you where I carry my phone. I'll take my phone and I'll put it in my dry sack. Like anything that I don't want to get ruined. I have a little like phone case. I just bought it off of Amazon. I like to have my phone right here at my hip for mostly for photos. I have a different one in the winter. That one is a different material and it's all enclosed. So in case of snow, then I just clip it on here. It just stays right in the front. I have, I've done all sorts of things. It's probably not the best clip, but I'm much more aware. But I was hiking in Baxter State Park. I was doing a huge hike. It was probably like 14 miles. I don't know if you've heard of Baxter. It's Mount Katahdin is up there. It's the end of the Appalachian Trail, and we were doing a big, huge loop. And probably after mile, I don't know, after like 10 miles or something, I realized we were just coming down off of this big, huge ridge. And we stopped to put on some bug spray, and I was like, I don't have my phone. And I don't know, it fell off. My friend and I had to go backtrack probably 1.5 miles, 2 miles up to the top of the ridge. And luckily my phone was there, right where I was sitting and taking pictures or something like that. So clip-ons are good. Maybe you can find something else that's a little bit more safe. Definitely, it's a common occurrence of people leaving phones in different places or falling off, and it's not fun. All right, so let's see, what else? I went through, so I went through extra clothing. And the hat and the gloves. All right, so fire. A lot of us don't really think about this, but it's so lightweight that you can just throw this in your pack. These are just waterproof matches. They sell them. And I have a flint. So you could take a rock. Did this once with my son when we were out. And you could take a rock and you could make a spark. And if you got like birch near you or something like that, you could get a fire going. Most of the time, particularly in the White Mountains and probably here, you're probably in a no fire zone. But I think of it more for safety, like, I mean, this happens, right? There was a woman up who came off the AT to go to the bathroom, and she got disoriented, and very sad story. And unfortunately, she didn't live to tell her story, but she wrote in her journal, and then she was found in a tent, but whatever. But she was trying to send like all these signals to the helicopters that were above her, but she was in like the 100-mile wilderness in Maine. I mean, she was just thick in trees and whatever. But so I think for safety reasons, if you had to spend a night somewhere and you had to keep yourself warm, you can make a little fire. On that note, also, it's not really here, but I do have a whistle, and this is only to be used in an emergency. Right, you can't just go and like toot your whistle. It's really that people are really particular. So just for safety, I don't have a backpack like this, but a lot of backpacks now are making this clip right here into a whistle. So that's kind of cool because that's like right here. But I don't think I have that. I don't think I have it on my other pack either. So, but I think a lot of companies now, especially if I think Deuter now, well, Deuter will make bags for women, but men should have a whistle also. So, light, right? Just throw it in your pack somewhere. The next category is emergency shelter. And again, this is really for like an emergency. This is if you're stuck somewhere and you're really going to have to spend the night. I have done different things. In the winter, I have actually packed my my sleeping bag. Mine's pretty lightweight, and so I've thrown it in. When I go out, often with Peaks and Poses, my trail yoga business, I will take a sleeping bag with me. But if that's not a have to, you can get something like this. This is called a bivy sack. And it's kind of like it looks like one of those space blankets, but it opens up into almost like a sleeping bag. So it's got, it kind of narrows, so it's like a mummy bag, right? So that would be my feet. And this is going to keep you warm. So you can just go right into, I'll give a little demo here. You got to crawl right up into this sack. And this will go way over my head. I'm not going to do it. This will go way over my head and will keep yourself warm. They make these for one person, and they also make them for two people. And this is also Velcroed. So, again, depending upon the season, maybe you can open it up a little bit for air and breathability, but super warm. And again, it doesn't take up that much space. It's not that heavy. And we have to have that mindset, of, possibilities of spending the night. Am I prepared? Pull that up later. Some people bring a tarp. Some people bring a tent. Some people, it all depends. I think the bivy sack is probably the best way to start. This is just something else. This isn't a have to, but I think more of like if I was ever to be with somebody that had to kind of stay in place for a long time, then actually I should have a much longer one. But this is really just to sit on, right? If you're out, I mean, oftentimes we'll just sit on the rock, but if the rock is wet or full of snow, it's just kind of like a little sit upon. But they make long ones so that if you were with somebody and they needed to lie down for a little while, you're waiting for help, you've got some insulation so that you don't have to put them really on the ground. This is really just kind of like for our fannies to sit on. Again, not a have to. You could also, not a have to, you could use this, it's Thermarest is the company. You could use this as, especially if it's a long one, as a sleeping pad for car camping or backpack. They're really lightweight. So that is kind of in the category of emergency shelter. And then we have repair kit and tools. So what I have is I just have a little, I have two, and I only bring one. I have a little Leatherman. This one I just bought for myself, just tiny. It's got scissors, it's got a screwdriver, and it's got a knife, and just sort of like the basic tools. And it's got just a little clip, usually somewhere inside your backpack, like inside the inside zipper, there's going to be something like this. Let's see where this one is. Oh, I know, it's on the outside. It's got like a little clip here. You guys see that? So you can just clip it. You can clip it in. But then one year I have two boys. They're 25 and 29. But they bought me a really cool Leatherman. So this got all the bells and whistles. It's a little bit heavier, but you never know what's going to break. Like your pole could break, something can happen with your tent, your hiking boot. So you want to have something that, see if I can close this. There we go. You want to have something. You got a corkscrew, right? Can opener, lots of different kinds of knives. So again, this, in a pinch, this is going to be fantastic. So duct tape. A lot of people say, bring duct tape, bring duct tape. So what I did was, again, this is a tip from a friend. I've got some hiking poles, and I took duct tape and wrapped duct tape around the pole so that I didn't have to bring the whole roll of duct tape, because that is super heavy. I think I'm ready to, these have been on here for a long time. I've never had to use duct tape. So this looks like it's ready for a new round. But that's just kind of, I have them on both poles. So now my issue is sometimes in the summer, particularly, I don't always use my poles. So I might have to buy just a little thing of duct tape and put it in my first aid kit. But I'm going on a backpacking trip this week. I will definitely have my poles with me. In the winter, I have my poles with me all the time. And so that's just kind of a neat little way to, I thought that was kind of clever. And then we have, let's see what I have in front of me that I haven't really talked about. All right, this is the last. This is part of the 10 essentials, and I'll just show you a little bit of, again, not on the list, but some things that I have decided to add to my kit. Most of the time, the first aid kit, you could buy one, but they're going to have a ton of Band-Aids in there and not much else that you're going to really need. So sometimes it's better just to make your own. And I'll just show you a couple of things that I have in my kit. I ended up buying one of these clear plastic cases like that you would bring on the airplane with you, because then I could see what's in there, right? Just make everything visible. I have moleskin. I would highly recommend Moleskin. You can buy this anywhere, like CVS, Walgreens, anything like that. It's just, unfortunately, if you were to get a blister, you peel off the back. You have to cut, right? Because you've got your tool with you, you got your scissors, cut off a piece, and peel off the back, and then you stick it over your blister. It's going to hold itself in place way better than a Band-Aid will. So Moleskin it's a hiker's dream. I have some fold-up scissors. I just always keep them in there. I've never used this, but somebody recommended it. It's a tick remover. I don't think ticks like me. I've never had a tick in all the years that I've been hiking up there, but you can't say that about everybody. Just some first aid cream, some Neosporin, Tylenol. I have friends that hike with Aleve, but I don't really take any of that stuff. I guess I don't really need it. I have a few Band-Aids. I've got Benadryl, itch relief. I have a little bit of rope. I'm not sure what I would use it for, but someone said you should always have a little rope in your first aid kit. So I'm like, okay, I'll put a little rope in there. Just some wipes, some antiseptic wipes, just to help, I mean, there's lots of falling, scraping of knees, elbows, things like that. So just to help somebody out. I have a single edge razor. This doesn't fit my Camelback anymore because I have a different Camelback, but I was on a trip once. I was right outside one of the AMC huts, and I went to take a sip of my water, and this little squishy thing where I get my water from had popped off. And I think that one did have a lock, so the lock was on, fortunately, so the water didn't come out, but I had no little way to like suck on my water anymore. So luckily there was somebody out there with me. He's like, oh, I have an extra one. I'm like, you do? Like, you're like a trail angel. That's fantastic. So he gave me the extra one, and I'm like, I'm going to put one in my first aid kit because someday somebody's going to need one of these, and I'm going to have one and be able to help somebody out. So I just keep that in there. It's just really a mouthpiece. I have hand warmers. Even in the summer, they're just, I have 1.5. I should probably put in another one. You never know, like if you're with somebody again and you're waiting for help or somebody gets cold, I just figured it's better to be safe than to be sorry. So I've got some hand warmers that we could open up quickly and keep somebody warm. And then I have these doggy bags, which are awesome. And remember I told you I like to bring some extra socks. So if it's raining, you get wet, or your feet get wet from crossing a river, right? There is nothing worse than hiking in like soaking wet, not just boots, but the socks. And that wet socks are gonna like rub on your skin. So what you wanna do is you take your boots off, you take the wet socks off, wring them out, put on your dry socks, right? Because you have them in your extra clothing gear. And then you take this plastic bag and you put your foot in there. Maybe your mom did this for you when you were younger, right? Going out in the snow with the snow boots. And then you're gonna put your foot with the dry sock back into the wet boot. And this bag is going to prevent your feet from, your socks and feet from getting wet. So I just keep 2 in here. I have been with people and we've had to use this. So not a bad idea to have that. I put my matches in here and my flint goes in here. And then remember I was talking about organizing things, and my compass. They all go in my first aid kit. Again, see, I can pretty much, and not everything is visible, but I can pretty much see most of what's in here. The other thing I have is just, I got this from the Wilderness First Aid course that I took. It's a patient assessment checklist. So it's just really a checklist to remind me of to what to look for and how to assess somebody. So the other thing that was recommended, and I ended up buying, and again, this is not a have to, this is just sort of like little things that I've learned along the way, is like a wrap. And we, in the first aid course, we had to wrap somebody's legs. So this is good for knee, ankle, arms. We did a leg, and we just used somebody's pole, and we put the pole next to their leg, and then we wrapped this all around. So we kind of made like a brace for somebody. And it's possible that somebody, depending upon, you know, what they injured, that they may be able to walk out somewhat like that. So again, this is not a have to, it's not on the 10 essentials, but I thought I would bring just a couple things out. But what is on there, in addition to a first aid kit, is bug spray. Especially now, the bugs are out. I have another spray called Bye Bye Black Flies up in New Hampshire. There are a ton of black flies, mostly in June. It's a nice company outside of in Maine. It's a small company, and they're all natural. That's called Bye Bye Black Flies. And the other thing that I do have for bugs is a little bug net, right? Just to put on over your head. Keep the bugs away from your eyes, bothering you at least there. Hopefully, you know, maybe your arms are covered up, but it's really hard to kind of cover up your head. The one thing about these, you have to remember when you're going to sit down and eat, you got to take them off. That's happened before too. So we have bug spray, bug net. I have on my list too foot care, but I think it was in reference to those bags that I have, and also the moleskin, in case you're going to get blisters. The other thing that's on here, it's not on here actually, so that actually completes the 10 essentials. The first aid was the last, but what I have is, I have like just a little toiletry kit. I have to stock up because I need some toilet paper. I'm going out on a trip. But the White Mountains, in every really national forest, is going to be a leave no trace policy. Sometimes they just refer to it as LNV. I'm sorry, LNT, leave no trace. So one thing they recommend is, if you need to, you can get like this little trowel and you can dig yourself a hole, right? You can do your business there, cover it all up. But also, they want you to take your toilet paper with you. So I just bring little Ziploc bags, put my toilet paper in there, close it up. It's really for the day. Again, my toilet paper's in here, my Ziploc bags. I have a little wipe. I have some hand sanitizer, and then I have my trowel. I'll put that in there. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah, I kind of got used to it. I know it sounds really kind of gross, and like a lot of people don't really want to do that, but when I was on the trail for however long I was out for 10 days, and it was really like no big deal just to put stuff in a plastic bag, especially if you're going out that long. You have a designated bag, and just all your toilet paper goes in there, zipped up. Just shove it in your backpack somewhere, and it's really not a big deal. Let's see, what else do I have here? My other little gadget, and this I got mostly when I was doing my multi-day backpacking, but up in the mountains, your phone will inevitably run out of battery. One of the things just easier to remind yourself is just to put your phone on airplane mode, because when it's out and not, it's just going to be trying to find cell service, and it's just going to drain the battery. So I found Anchor is the name of this company that has a pretty powerful charger, and I did a little bit of research. I just tried to find something. It's lightweight compared to the others, but I can't say it's like super lightweight. But this will last a really long time, and it's got a nice indicator on there. So like all those lights are lit up, which means that it's fully charged. And then it turns off on its own. It just turned off. And this lasted me for almost 10 days when I was out. The friend that I went with had a solar battery charger. So I was able to charge there. So this lasted a pretty long time. And I just got like one of those short little cables so I could put this into my phone. And sometimes in the winter, depending upon what kind of phone you have, the battery may last longer. So a couple of times this winter I had to, you know, charge my phone when I was heading down. This is just the charging cord. I don't actually really even need that. I just keep everything together, so I don't have to go looking for that. So I like to bring my battery charger. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly, because I'm noticing the time, I'm going to quickly show you where I put a lot of things, just to help a little bit with organization. So the bladder, usually in a backpack, they'll have some little compartment in there. Like the backpacks for school, they have like a place for like your computer. So this is where the bladder goes. The other thing I like about this, I can take this off. So this backpack was made before Camelback came out with this crazy but cool mouthpiece, but it doesn't fit through the hole. So that's what I like about these detached. This detached one, this can go into the hole. Now it's back in my backpack. And it's like, where did it go? Here it is. So it's gonna go back in there. That goes in my backpack. I usually fill up my water like the night before, because then I want to put everything else in. So this has got a little Velcro. This is getting worn out. That's why it's almost, little things on the backpack are getting worn out, but it's okay. So, and then I will put in my rain gear down at the bottom. I would put my bivy sack, it's not filled up right now, but I would put that in there. If I was going to bring my little pad, I put that in on the side. That could also go on the outside. You'll discover your own backpack and it, you know, figure out where things go. My first aid kit. So generally the things that I don't need right away, if I'm going to bring this to help splint somebody, I'll bring that. My hat and my gloves would go in here, and then I would put that in. So this is not all filled up. My water filter. That would go on the bottom. Again, this is all kind of stuff that you don't really need to access. However, my backpack, which is really nice, once it's all closed, it has a zipper underneath here, and I can open it up, and I can actually have access to everything. So it's kind of like a duffel suitcase. And let's see. And every backpack has like little loopy things for you to place your poles. You'll figure out where's the best place for you. And then I get into, I have a zipper on the side. I always put my food in there, whatever can fit. So if I was bringing all that, I just put that in there. My sunscreen, my bug spray, I usually put on the outside. I have like another little pouch here. Lots of times I'll put this stuff on. The sunscreen I may bring with me, but the bug spray, usually I put it on before I start a hike, and then I might not even bring it with me. Maps. So if I was going to bring one map, that would also go right in the front there. And let's see what else. So this was supposed to be in there. Okay. Then I have two zippers, one here, one on the inside. The one on the inside are the things, again, that I don't use all that much. So I would put in my Leatherman. The Leatherman has a clip, but I don't want to put it on the outside. I'm afraid I'm going to lose it. So I put that in there with my phone charger. I would probably put my my bug net in there, my head net, because unless it's really bad, I don't tend to use it. And then on the outside, I have a little towel. These are fun to have. I used this all day on Friday. It was so hot and humid where I was hiking. So it's just it's a quick dry towel. You get these in different sizes and it gets really tiny. So I have that out here. I was wearing it around my neck the entire day and just stopping at every possible stream, lake, or pond that I passed because it was, I don't know if you remember Friday, but it was really hot and humid. And I was on like a 11-mile hike, so it was really hot. My toiletries go on the outside there. If I was going to bring this little knife, that goes on that little hook, right? That was in the inside. This map I'm not going to bring. My whistle, I will hook on to this. I'm not going to do that tonight because I'm packing up another backpack tonight. So I want to make sure that I'll have to unhook that later. Oh, my headlamp, that will go on the inside because I have it and I've used it a lot in the winter because in the winter, you know, it gets dark at like 4 o'clock. We may just be coming down. So that stays on the inside. My sunglasses will go in this outer pack. Some extra food might go in the outer pack or might go inside here. And, okay, so those are maps. Oh, my Nalgene bottle. So for me, my Nalgene, I've got a side pouch here. So I'm going to put that in there. And then because I've lost water bottles before, I hook my water bottles up. So I found these little twisty ties. You can get them at, I think REI sells them, but you can get them at also Home Depot, and you get like a big pack of them and different lengths and different thicknesses. So what I'll do is I'll take this, wrap it around my Nalgene bottle, put it back in my pouch, and then I hook it onto some other strap that's on the backpack, and then just twist it around. So if it falls out of the pouch, I'm not going to lose it because I've done that before, and I watch my water bottles go all the way down the ravine. And it's like, well, there goes another Nalgene. So again, like a lot of it is just like live and learn. We sort of, you know, learn from experience and try to hopefully, you know, they're going to be not so costly experience, you know, like just be safe. You can always get another Nalgene, but it's kind of a bummer. So again, little tips I've learned along the way. My poles, if I'm not using them, so this is tricky. In the winter, I wouldn't, I have something else for the winter to put my Nalgene in. It's an insulated case, and then it gets attached to my hip belt. So I could also keep my poles in there, or I'm pretty sure that on the side here, there is a spot. Let's see if this works here. You guys see me? Yeah. I don't hike this way. Other people do, but there's a way to attach your poles to the side of your backpack. The people who design these packs, like I think they think of everything. And so you could have your poles right like here, right? So I'll just cinch this on top. Close everything up. Whoops. Oh, I forgot to undo that. And then I've got everything already in here. If you are new to hiking, I would highly recommend that you get fitted for a backpack. The people at any of the stores are super helpful. I would say like REI, EMS. I'm not sure. I don't know about Sierra Trading. I've never bought a backpack there, but the other stores the people are just incredibly helpful. You tell them, you know, kind of what you're interested in doing, a day pack, day hiking, or overnight. I recommended one of my friends to go there with all of her stuff, and then they were able to fit her appropriately for what size backpack she would need. And they'll have you just try on a whole bunch of different packs, because every pack is different. Everybody's, you know, we're all different. Our torsos are different, the length of them, the width of them, things like that. I wanted to go in, I was going to buy an Osprey, and I tried it on, and it just didn't fit me. It's just another brand. And then I tried on this, and it was like, you know, I was like wearing a glove. So that's how I ended up with this, and I love it. And I have another Deuter, that's the larger backpack. So I'm ready to head out. I'm all packed up. And yeah, I mean, I'm happy to answer any questions that you have.